Okay, this is version 2 of the MPSciLink device. Just want to give you a brief overview. This is the device board, and it uses an Arduino Mega 2560, which you'll flash through the USB port on the Arduino using MP-Tune. That'll load the MPSciLink software. The device board here, these 4 pins are for the display, and I've got a little test rig set up just to try and extend my wires a little bit. So the wires off the Nextion display are red and black, yellow and blue. Yellow and blue are the transmit and receive. 3.5 inch display shown here. I've got a 7-inch display as a tester. It's powered up separately right now through a USB port plug. So you see my splash screen, but I'm going to flash that, reflash that today with new software, so that'll probably disappear. Just quickly, ECU transmit and receive on the top here, these 2 pins on this terminal, power, 12 volt power in, and these terminals across the bottom of the board are for the analog inputs. There's, I don't know if you can see it very well here, but there's a terminal strip with 4 right over here directly on the right. Those are for the signal grounds. And the 4 here, analog 1, 2, 3, and 4, are the 0 to 5 volt inputs. SD card module and Bluetooth module. Those are the main parts of the board. I'll power it up and show you the display. So the MPSciLink powers up, and the screen, you can see after a couple of seconds you'll see an SD card icon and a Bluetooth icon. Those appear after startup when it checks, does a system check. Bluetooth module, you can see, is flashing. It's not connected to my phone right now, but I'll try that either in this video or quick separate video. Just wanted to run through a couple of the screens here that you can see just powered up. My wideband O2 is reading 16.8 and 9. It's flashing between the 2 right now. The car's not running, but the ECU is powered up. If I go to the monitor screen, you can see this is using the MPC file from my last log, so I've only got a test log showing just a few values. If I hit start, it should populate the values, and you can see that the AFR wideband output is reading 17.01. Now my gauge is actually toggling between 16.9 and 17.0. So I just had started the car a little bit ago. The A4 reading over here is the actual voltage that same output is reading. So that's the voltage for the AFR wideband output, and then the actual reading in AFR. You can see my throttle position is minimum 1.25 right now. If I go wide open throttle, it changes to 4.08, and then release back to minimum throttle. The AFR wideband other gauge here, it's reading 7.88. That's because it's not configured on my ECU. I'm using the narrowband signal to the ECU from the stock sensor. So although I installed the gauge here for the test, I realized that I still had narrowband on Slugmobile. Stop monitoring, go back. The monitor screen and the log screen are pretty much the same. The format's the same. If you go to log and then start the log, you're still monitoring the values, but it's actually counting up samples. So you can see that, I don't know if you can see on the screen, but the sample rate's increasing quite rapidly, so it grabs lots of samples. Stop the log and go back I'm going to show you something that some people have suggested, which was already on the radar. For the setup is a screen that allows you to change the brightness. You can see when I pulled it up, it actually is in nighttime mode here, but if I want to change the nighttime brightness, you can see it's on 13. I can just simply move the bar to a different point and then hit save. So nighttime brightness is at 82. If I switch it to daytime brightness, it was at 88, but I want to make that 100 and hit save. If I go back to nighttime, it should say 82, and it does. So daytime and nighttime brightness setting. If you do want at night, for whatever reason, to cut the brightness off all the way, you just tap on the lower part of the bar all the way on the left. The bar's still there, the screen's still there, so if you tap somewhere else, it'll light back up. I'll probably try and make some suggestions on how to do that if you're in the logging screen and you want to shut the brightness off for whatever reason or dim it down. But for now, this is what can set the brightness. And once it's set, you can return. Clock settings. There is a real-time clock as part of the display. You see I don't have a coin battery in it, so I'm not going to bother setting the time and date. But you can change those, at least change the year here for you and save it. If you go back to any other screens and then go back to clock, you'll see that it saved that value to 2017. If I power it off though, obviously it's going to be lost since I don't have the battery. The read and flash screens, I don't have the bootstrap set up right now, so I can't actually perform a flashing function or reading function, but you can see the different screen. There's no bin loaded for the flashing, so that's a quick overview. Oh, go back to monitor. I'm going to try loading the software on the 7-inch screen and do a video for that. Thanks.